Lilliputian Country with Steamed Buns from the Sky. Chapter 1. In the 6th month of the end of the world, the cold wind howled, and high-rise buildings were razed to the ground by a blizzard. The streets were white, the bodies froze in the snow, and the sounds of starvation and freezing dissipated in the extreme cold. The survivors of the Dawn base huddled inside the dilapidated buildings, looking desperately at the wasteland outside the window. Is it really impossible to hold on? Someone whispered. The voice was like a dead leaf in the wind, trembling and weak. At this moment, a hill-sized hot steamed bun fell from the sky and smashed into the open space in front of the base. The steamed buns exuded warmth, the aroma wafted up, and the snow melted in an instant. An ethereal voice came from all directions, like an oracle, "Eat quickly, it will be cold later." The survivors were stunned, and a long-lost warmth and hope suddenly welled up in their hearts. Chapter 2. The first bite of the steamed bun was soft and sweet, more delicious than any food in memory. People who have been hungry for 6 months cry while eating, tears running down their cheeks. How is this possible? Someone murmured. Another voice was full of awe. This is a gift from the gods. Lilliputian has changed since then, and steamed buns, cakes, and milk tea began to appear like rain and dew. Occasionally, the sky falls not with snow, but with huge desserts, mountain-like cakes, and milk tea with deep pool water. Chapter 3. Someone in the base tried to get in touch with the source of the steamed bun. A thin young man named Shuang stepped out of the snow carrying a long wooden stick. The steamed bun emitted heat, and he felt the cold around him gradually dissipate, as if he was protected by divine power. Really? Can we eat all you can eat? The voice was erratic, like the wind, and like some invisible force whispering in his ear, "Eat, don't be afraid." Chapter 4. The miracle of the steamed bun's arrival quickly spreads, and survivors from the nearby ruins rush to it. They had hope in their eyes, shaking hands with each other and sharing food, which was a long-lost warmth. Lilliputian slowly grew in size, and the survivors began to build humble shacks using snow and planks to build shelter from the wind. The alpine cake is cut into slices and everyone gets a piece. Chapter 5. The gods feed not only food, but also bring strange phenomena. The milk tea is as deep as a small lake, and some children even use spoons to dig it up and drink it, and their whole body is warm after drinking. Someone tried to fish in the milk tea lake and caught a huge candy fish. How can the world be so ridiculous? One survivor smirked. Shuang watched the shimmering light on the lake, but a strange sense of responsibility rose in his heart. We have to protect all this. Chapter 6. Lilliputians gradually formed order. Shuang was elected as the leader, and he coordinated the feeding of supplies to ensure that everyone could eat hot food. Tower-like cakes are piled up on the walls, and survivors even build cookies into small houses. The voice of the god occasionally sounded again, "Remember to share, don't be greedy." Chapter 7. One day, a huge torrent of milk tea poured down from the sky, nearly drowning several survivors. Shuang led everyone to evacuate quickly and built a protective wall with cakes. The children were holding the candy fish, screaming and laughing, and the audience was like a fairy tale world. The gods are too willful. Someone shouted. Shuang said calmly, "This is our villain, the gods have given us the miracle of survival, we have to learn to deal with it." Chapter 8. The phenomenon of feeding gradually became bizarre. Sometimes the steamed buns float in midair on their own, the cake is automatically divided into small pieces, and even colorful bubbles appear in the milk tea lake. The survivors were surprised, but slowly got used to it. Shuang led everyone to try to create a small farm, composting huge steamed buns and cakes to cultivate peculiar dessert crops. Chapter 9. Lilliputian began to communicate with the people of the surrounding ruins. Someone brings danger-hungry wanderers who want to grab food. Soleng Shuang calmly commanded, using the biscuit wall and milk tea lake as obstacles to successfully protect the safety of the villagers. The voice of the heavenly god sounded again, "Brave people, you will receive more blessings." The survivors of Lilliputian have a belief in their hearts, in this apocalypse, miracles can also happen. Chapter 10. The first Lilliputian dessert festival was held, and all survivors participated. Cake walls, milk tea lakes, and giant steamed buns have become holiday decorations. Children play, and candy fish roll on the lake. Soleng Shuang stood on the high platform of steamed buns, looking at the smiling villagers, and secretly vowed in his heart. No matter how cruel the end of the world is, our villain country must live a wonderful and absurd life. Chapter 11. The steamed buns that fell from the sky were no longer just white circles, but sometimes emitted colorful light, like tiny meteors. The children scrambled to chase, and Soleng Shuang smiled and shook his head, "Be careful not to wrestle, this is much more slippery than snow." A huge cake suddenly fell and smashed in front of the ruins, splashing butter and powdered sugar. The survivors excitedly cut the cake, each piece larger than their palm and fragrant. The ethereal voice sounded again, "Share, the joy will increase exponentially." Everyone shared food with each other, and even the wanderers got their share. Chapter 12. The milk tea lake began to glow strangely, and the lake water slowly floated small bubbles. Soleng Shuang tried to stir it with a branch and found that there were small candies in each bubble. The survivors happily picked up the candy, the children giggled and ate it, laughter echoing in the cold wind. Soleng Shuang thought to himself, in this last world, there is also the most absurd sweetness. Chapter 13. Lilliputian began to build the milk tea bridge, using bridges made of milk tea to connect different sheds. Survivors walked cautiously and found that the bridge was not only stable but also fragrant. Some children couldn't help but lick the bridge surface, and the sweetness melted in their mouths. Soleng Shuang looked at everyone and felt warm in his heart. Our life can be so absurd and beautiful. Chapter 14. The miracle of the gods began to show regularity. In the early morning, rows of hot steamed buns landed neatly, and at dusk, it was like a mountain-like cake. Sometimes, pool-like milk tea will form a small lake in the center of Lilliputian. The survivors got busy, organizing the distribution of food and milk tea, while the children played by the lake. Soleng Shuang thought to himself, this is not just survival, but also a miracle civilization in the end times. Chapter 15. One day, a chocolate ball bigger than a house fell from the sky. It smashed into the snow, shattered into countless pieces, and was full of fragrance. Children jump around the chocolate blocks, and the survivors cut them with wooden sticks, and everyone can eat them. Soleng Shuang couldn't help but laugh out loud. In this apocalypse, even chocolate has become a miracle. Chapter 16. The survivors of Lilliputian began to try their hand at creating their own desserts. Mix cake crumbs with water from the milk tea lake to create a steaming bubble tea cake soup. When everyone took a bite, it was surprisingly delicious, sweet, and fragrant. Soleng Shuang nodded secretly, this is an absurd apocalyptic dish, we must make good use of it. Chapter 17. One day, a sudden snowstorm sealed the milk tea lake in half. The survivors hurriedly dug up, only to find that there were candy fish under the lake. The children exclaimed, hurry up and catch them, they will be buried in the snow. So Lengshuang led everyone to cooperate and successfully rescued the candy fish. The voice of the god sounded again, only the brave are worthy of sweetness. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 18. Lilliputian's dessert festival is officially held, and each survivor brings a homemade dessert. Cake tart, chocolate hills, milk tea lake, candy fish. The absurd scene is dizzying. So Lengshuang stood on the tall steamed bun and announced, "Our Lilliputian kingdom is a symbol of the miracle of the end times." The children clapped their hands and cheered, and the survivors laughed and hugged each other. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 19. One day, giant juice bottles fell from the sky, and thick juice flowed into the milk tea lake. The survivors watched in amazement as the lake turned into a colorful swirl and sweetness filled the surroundings. So Lengshuang instructed everyone to build small waterways to divert the juice lake to various sheds. The survivors happily scooped up the juice and drank it all over their bodies as warm as spring. The children laughed and said, "It's better than the summer before the end of the world." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 20. The miracle of the gods feeding seems to bring unknown powers. Some steamed buns even automatically float into the hands of survivors, and the cake is automatically cut into pieces the size of a human hand. So Lengshuang stared at the sky and secretly vowed in his heart, "No matter how absurd the end times are, our Lilliputian kingdom will use this miracle to protect everyone." Chapter 21. The survivors of Lilliputian began experimenting with combining the milk tea lake and the cake mountain to create a large dessert fortress. The children climbed the cake wall and fished for candy fish in the milk tea lake with wooden spoons, and the laughter rang like silver bells. So Lengshuang stood on a high place and observed, seeing that the entire Lilliputian country was like a fairy tale castle. "We can also have such a paradise in the last days." He secretly sighed in his heart. The ethereal voice sounded again, "Those who share bravely will gain more." The survivors shared food with each other, and happiness spread in the cold wind. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 22. Giant chocolate chips suddenly fell from the sky, covering the ground like thin wings. The survivors carefully stepped on it, feeling soft and elastic underfoot. The children jumped excitedly, and laughter spread across the snowfield. So Lengshuang reminded everyone, "Be careful not to slip, the chocolate will melt too." He secretly planned in his heart, use these desserts to build more amusement facilities to make Lilliputian more vivid. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 23. The milk tea lake has undergone a mysterious transformation, with colorful bubbles appearing on the lake, each containing small candies. Children slap bubbles with their hands, and the candy falls, instantly causing cheers. So Lengshuang smiled and instructed everyone, "Don't worry, every bubble is a gift from the gods." Someone tried to poke the bubbles with a wooden stick, and the candy splashed and the whole lake became sweet. The survivors collected and frolicked, completely forgetting the harsh cold of the apocalypse. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 24. Lilliputian held a candy catching competition for the first time, and the children were divided into teams to catch candy fish. The cake city wall serves as the competition venue, while the milk tea lake is the challenge in the center of the arena. So Lengshuang stood on the high platform and observed, smiling and saying, "Everyone can harvest their own sweetness." Children fall and get up during the game, laughter and screams intertwined, and the whole Lilliputian country is full of life. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 25. The sky descended like a mountain like hot steamed bun, and each survivor got one. Steaming and fragrant, it instantly dispels the cold. So Lengshuang sighed, "This is the grace of the gods, and it is also the reward for our efforts." The children couldn't wait to take a bite, and the laughter and sweetness blended into the cold wind. Survivors share with each other and build the warmest interpersonal connections in the apocalypse. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 26. One day, a mysterious whirlpool appeared in the milk tea lake, causing the lake to roll. The survivors panicked, worried that the lake would overflow and flood Cake City. Soleng Shuang calmly commanded, built a candy embankment, and successfully controlled the lake. Children play by the whirlpool, and the lake reflects rainbow light, like a strange fantasy in the apocalypse. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 27. The survivors of Lilliputian begin to try their hand at making chocolate boats to sail in the milk tea lake. The children stood on the boat, holding candy paddles in their hands, and laughter echoed across the lake. Soleng Shuang looked at the scene and secretly sighed in his heart, the absurd end of the world can be so beautiful. The ethereal voice sounded again, brave people, you will get more sweetness. The survivors hugged each other and felt a warmth they had never felt before. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 28. The cake mountain suddenly cracked, flowing out of the hot chocolate river and flowing into the milk tea lake. Survivors were amazed and quickly used wooden planks to guide the river, forming a network of creeks. Children frolic in the river, and the chocolate river intertwines with the milk tea lake in a colorful whirlpool. Soleng Shuang secretly planned in his heart, to use these miracles to build new attractions in Lilliputian. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 29. A rainbow-shaped rain of giant candies appeared in the sky, each piece of candy was as crystal clear as colored stones. Survivors collect, children laugh continuously, and the snow is decorated with candy into a colorful world. Soleng Shuang observed everyone and secretly vowed in his heart, in this last days, we must protect this absurd miracle. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 30. Lilliputian held the second dessert festival, with cake towers, chocolate rivers, milk tea lakes, and candy rain complementing each other. Survivors showed each other homemade desserts, each bite with a taste of absurdity and happiness. Soleng Shuang stood on the high platform of the steamed bun and announced, "This is our Lilliputian kingdom, the miracle and hope in the end times." Children clapped their hands and cheered, survivors hugged each other, and the absurd and warm apocalyptic life shone brightly in the snow. Chapter 31. The miracle of the gods feeding became more and more exaggerated, and an entire row of candy castles fell from high altitudes, standing like mini mountains. Children climbed up the castle, holding wooden spoons in their hands to scoop candy fish in the chocolate river, and laughter echoed throughout the ruins. Soleng Shuang stood on the high platform, observing the entire Lilliputian kingdom, secretly sighing in his heart. Even in the absurd apocalypse, a dream paradise can also be built. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 32. The colorful vortex in the milk tea lake suddenly expanded, and small colorful bubbles appeared. Rare sweets are sealed in the bubbles, and each child tries to grab them with his little hands. Soleng Shuang reminded everyone, "Don't worry, every bubble is a gift from the gods." Candy splashed, the whole lake was filled with aroma, and the survivors were very happy. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 33. The giant chocolate ball came again, smashing into countless pieces in the snow. The children were playing with the chocolate chips, and Soleng Shuang proposed to use the pieces to build a candy bridge. The survivors worked together to build a bridge connecting Milk Tea Lake and Cake Mountain, making Lilliputian as complete as a fairy tale. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 34. Lilliputian held a candy catching competition for the first time, and children competed in groups to catch candy fish. The Cake City Wall serves as the competition venue, and the Milk Tea Lake becomes the central challenge area. Soleng Shuang stood on the high platform and announced, "Everyone can harvest their own sweetness." Children fall and get up during the game, laughter and screams intertwined, and the whole Lilliputian country is full of life. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 35. The sky descended like a mountain like hot steamed bun, and each survivor got one. Steaming hot, fragrant, dispelling the cold. Soleng Shuang sighed, this is the grace of the gods, and it is also the reward for our efforts. Share with each other and make the warmest interpersonal connections in the last days. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 36. The milk tea lake suddenly swelled, and a mysterious whirlpool appeared. The survivors were worried about the lake overflowing, so Soleng Shuang calmly commanded and controlled the lake with candy embankments. Children play by the whirlpool, and the lake reflects rainbow light, like a strange fantasy in the apocalypse. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 37. Lilliputian survivors make chocolate boats and sail on the milk tea lake. Children stand on the boat, paddling with candy paddles in their hands, laughter echoing across the lake. Soleng Shuang sighed, the absurd end can be so beautiful. The ethereal voice sounded again, brave people, you will reap more sweetness. The survivors hugged each other, and warmth filled the entire Lilliputians. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 38. The cake mountain cracked, and the hot chocolate river flowed towards the milk tea lake, forming a colorful intertwined whirlpool. Survivors quickly built small waterways to control the chocolate river and prevent overflows. Children play in the river, the lake is like a colorful ocean, and the entire Lilliputian is full of life. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 39. A rain of rainbow candies fell from the sky, each piece crystal clear, like colored stones. Survivors collect candy, children laugh, and the snow is decorated with a colorful world. Soleng Shuang secretly determined, in this last days, we must protect this absurd miracle. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 40. The second Lilliputian dessert festival was held, with cake tarts, chocolate rivers, milk tea lakes, and candy rain complementing each other. Survivors show each other homemade desserts, and every bite is absurd and blissful. Soleng Shuang stood on the steamed bun platform and announced, this is the Lilliputian kingdom, the miracle and hope in the end times. The children clapped their hands and cheered, the survivors hugged and laughed at each other, and the absurd and warm apocalyptic life shone in the snow. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 41. The feeding of the gods enters an even more absurd phase, dropping an entire row of candy castles from high altitudes. The children climbed up the castle and fished for candy fish in the chocolate river with wooden spoons in their hands, and laughter spread throughout the wasteland. Soleng Shuang secretly sighed in his heart, even in the absurd apocalypse, you can also build a dream paradise. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 42. The colorful swirl of the milk tea lake expands, and rare candies are hidden in the bubbles. The children struggled to catch the bubbles, and the survivors assisted in the guidance. Soleng Shuang reminded, every bubble is a gift from the gods. Candy splashes, fragrance overflows, and joy is still full in the last days. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 43. The chocolate ball came again, shattering into countless pieces. Survivors use the fragments to build a candy bridge that connects the milk tea lake to the cake hill. Lilliputian is as complete as a fairy tale world, and the children laugh endlessly. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 44. The candy catching competition was held again, and the children competed in groups to catch candy fish. The cake city wall serves as the venue, and the milk tea lake becomes a challenge area. Soleng Shuang announced, Everyone can harvest their own sweetness. Laughter and screams are intertwined, and the end times can be full of life. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 45. Hot steamed buns fell from the sky, and each survivor was given one. The aroma overflows and dispels the cold. So Leng Shuang sighed, this is the grace of the gods, and it is also the reward for our efforts. Everyone shares food and builds warm interpersonal relationships. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 46. The whirlpool of the milk tea lake expanded, and So Leng Shuang calmly commanded and used the candy embankment to control the water flow. Children are playing by the lake, the rainbow light on the lake is flashing, and the strange fantasy is revealed. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 47. Lilliputian survivors make chocolate boats and sail in the milk tea lake. Children paddle with candy paddles, laughter echoing across the lake. So Leng Shuang sighed, the absurd end can be so beautiful. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 48. The cake mountain cracked, and the hot chocolate flowed to the milk tea lake, creating a colorful swirl. Survivors build waterways to control the river, children play in the river, and the lake surface is like a colorful ocean. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 49. Rainbow candy rains down, each piece is crystal clear, and the snow turns into a colorful world. So Leng Shuang secretly determined, protect this absurd miracle and make the end of the world full of sweetness. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 50. The third dessert festival was held, with cake tarts, chocolate rivers, milk tea lakes, and candy rain complementing each other. So Leng Shuang stood on the high platform of the steamed bun and announced, this is the Lilliputian kingdom, a symbol of miracle and hope in the last days. Survivors clapped and cheered with children, and the absurd and warm apocalyptic life shone in the snow. The voice of the gods whispered, be brave, share, help each other, you deserve all the sweetness.